We have a man running for the House of Representatives. Representative Marc Molinaro is running against a reprobate, in my humble opinion. New York's 19th Congressional District. New York is going to be a key to whether we hold the majority in the House or not. You got 5 very, very close races, 5 in the state of New York. This is one of them. Marc Molinaro, how are you, sir?
I'm well, Mark. Thank you. You are nicer about my opponent than I usually am.
Well, tell us about the country and other people in your district, about you and your opponent and what's going on there.
Sure. Well, listen, I'm finishing up my first term. You know, we've fought to secure the border, drive down costs, make it more affordable. I work and live in a state where, frankly, because of democratic rule, you know this, cashless bail and criminal justice reforms have made us unsafe. My opponent is a Washington, D.C. lawyer. In fact, this wasn't even the seat he wanted to run for. He ran originally in a seat that Claudia Tenney ran, is now the member, you know her. He ran in a seat that Brandon Williams won, and that's, of course, another one of these seats we're defending. And then he came to this district to run. He spent the last 20 years working in Washington, D.C. as a D.C. lawyer, well-connected political law firm, and fought to dismantle the Trump border security policies. Frankly, he's responsible for basically the legal argument that led the Biden administration, Kamala Harris, to abandon the southern border and welcome 10.5 million people into this country illegally. Fast forward, of course, into New York State, and between sanctuary city policies and those other criminal justice reforms that he and Kathy Hochul embrace, we've just made ourselves less safe. And so I've been fighting hard to try to combat all this. It's the most expensive race in America at the moment, and I know why. They can't win unless they try to buy it away from the people I represent.
Tell us a little bit about you.
Sure. Well, I came to Congress having served 12 years as a county executive in New York. That means I ran a municipal corporation during COVID and led the state in both cutting taxes and providing for public safety. Before that, served 7 years in the New York State Assembly. My wife and I live in Catskill, New York, with 4 wonderful children, one of whom lives with a disability. But we're like everybody else. We're paying too much in energy costs, too much electric costs. We have the 2 grocery carts at the grocery store, and we see everything far too damn expensive for far too little in return. And we're insulted by people like Josh Riley, who just want to wander into a district and try to buy it away from the people who've been working hard to make ends meet. So
this guy's a Washington, D.C. carpetbagger? Is that pretty much it?
Yes, sir. 20 years, lived and worked in Washington, D.C., for one of the most politically connected law firms in the Capitol. Served as a staffer for, you'll remember this name, former U.S. Senator Al Franken, where my opponent wrote, imagine this, wrote the mass amnesty bill that would have led to illegal immigrants getting, obviously, everything from hotels and credit cards to access to your Social Security checks. And, he runs on the Working Families line here in New York, which requires you as a candidate, so required him to sign a pledge to fight for illegal immigrants to get the right to vote in New York. And none of this makes any sense. Of course, it undermines our safety and steals taxpayer dollars from good, hard-working Americans.
He raises millions to lie about who he is and to lie about who you are. This is pretty much it. They never want to run against the actual candidate like you. They want to create a fictional character. Now, in your district, tell us what some of the towns are.
So, I live in the beautiful Catskill region. So Catskill, New York, many people will know. But this is also, so this is what we refer to it as we're upstate meets downstate. The old Borscht Belt in the Catskill region, Sullivan County, reaching across the Hudson River to the cities of city of Hudson and Rensselaer County around the Albany Capital District. But then you go clear west across the northern tier of Pennsylvania. Of course, we refer to it as the southern tier of New York, out to Binghamton and up to Ithaca, and of course, my district includes the great Baseball Hall of Fame in Cooperstown, New York.
Well, it sounds like a big damn district.
It's 11 counties. This is when you lead the nation and people leaving your state, right? And New York does. These districts get bigger and bigger to cover the territory to get to 770,000 residents. But I've known it. I've lived it. I've worked it my whole life. What I didn't tell you is a long, long time ago, I was elected mayor of my hometown when I was 19. A lot of folks around here know this. It's a long time ago, but I got the bug for public service. I think it's a responsibility, and I try to hold myself accountable and get this government to respect the taxpayers.
The ground game is going to make the difference. Do you have a good ground game?
We do. And, listen, this is the good thing on our side. Well, you know this. Listen, there's enthusiasm. People want to get out and vote for the president. They want to get out and hold the line in the House. We do. We've got a great ground game. We've got a good team all across the district. And I'd say this from Speaker Johnson right on, obviously, down to the chairwoman of our conference, Elise Stefanik. Everyone's leaning in. You opened it this way. This is really one of the 5 seats in America that's going to determine the fate of America. Will we have a Republican majority in the House that will fight to secure the border? Will we have one that will stand shoulder to shoulder with Israel? Will we have a Republican majority in the House that will fight to drive down costs and protect Americans and stop this endless fleecing of American taxpayers, handing over dollars to those who come into this country illegally? This is one of those 5 seats.
And is there any big issue going on in your district that might sway it one way or the other? I mean, I know the economy, the border, and so forth. Is there something else going on in this district?
Well, let's be clear. Because of my opponent and because of the policies of Governor Kathy Hochul and Mayor Eric Adams, the border is number one. And we've seen, you have the sanctuary city policies. We had the arrest of a Peruvian gang leader responsible for 23 murders in my district. Really ushered in by this administration and the legal work of my opponent, Josh Riley. But I also will tell you, because of that, we're also the epicenter of the fentanyl crisis. And this part of upstate New York has seen far too many lives lost. And we've been leading on this issue, both before I became a member of Congress, supporting law enforcement to really intercede in drug trafficking, and, by the way, to help people who are dealing with addiction. And now we lead this effort now as a member of Congress.
Well, America and the folks in New York's 19th Congressional District, I'll endorse you if it helps you, my friend. I want you to get behind Marc Molinaro, marcforus.com, M-A-R-C for US.com. He needs all the help he can get. We got 7 days to help protect and save this country for your kids and grandkids. Vote early. Vote early. That's Marc Molinaro, New York's 19th. Thank you, sir.